Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. And we've got a nice opening clip when we start on this. Okay guys, please like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated with my videos and it helps the channel massively. Now, as you can see by this opening clip, my pupil, I believe, made a slight little error in judgment there and could have stopped roughly about here. That car quite nicely actually came out the junction but done all they could to accommodate us, but we decided to reverse up on that occasion and let them through so then we could proceed. The van obviously decided to do a runner before any of that took place and disappeared. Now gently as we move on this clip, this time he gets it right, pinches over to the left and then lets these cars come through nice and clear, no harm done. Brilliant. Let's move on to the next clip. Okay, this next clip is basically about Cyclist, but we'll come to that in a minute. That car up front, that's seen better days, hasn't it? Not guilty of course, but that's taking a good old shunt up the back, and that's really what happens when people behind drive too close, and there's a real good example. Not sure he's going to get that fixed. That's probably going to end up being a write-off maybe, even though it's able to drive on the road. Anyway, move on, I'm digressing. As we move up here, this road gets a little bit on the tight side. It's not this cyclist coming towards us, it's going to be one we're going to look at from behind. Now as we're going up this road, it gets narrow both sides, and there's a point there, there's a van in the middle there, which I'm going to highlight, and it's there, and it's because at that point we see some reflection, so we slow down. We know vehicles are coming and we anticipated that, hold it back, and there comes the vehicles. A little bit of light reflection off there. Great help. If we would have carried on up that road there, that would have got real awkward. So I mean that was a good point by the learner there, but we both spotted that. As these cars come through and we move on, you can see the road does get a little bit tight and we're still looking for oncoming traffic. Now as we move forward, just as it opens up, we'll see a van turn into the road. There it comes, so we instantly react to that and we come in tight on the left to let that van go through. Now if we look on the rear view camera here, just as we're letting those cars go through, you'll see a cyclist coming up the road. Now you know the score with this, 1.5 meters clearance, and they have to take a certain amount of responsibility as well whilst they're on the road, and I don't believe this lady took any reasonable responsibility here. So we move in, so what does the cyclist do? Because you can see the van as well, nothing really, just goes straight past us and expects the van to stop and get out of the way. Look at the front view, there comes the van has to stop there to let this cyclist come through. I honestly think they could have pulled over a bit there. They've got to take a certain amount of responsibility when this happens. Okay, what we're looking at is this cyclist here coming up to a red light. What is he going to do? Look at the old boy. This will be me in a few years' time. Road's nice and clear. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to stop? I think we know what he's going to do, don't we? And he goes through. Nearly hits actually. And he goes through. A big deal? Just nothing around. I'm not really too fussed about that. But the thing is, does he know he went wrong? Does he know he did wrong? Look, he goes in there, he goes on the path. He knows he went through a red light, because just as he goes on, look, he goes just after the car, he goes back onto the road again. But anyway, lots of room there he could see, and I don't think he could have been bothered to stop. I'm not sure what he would have done under those circumstances. Okay, in this clip it's our good old friends, the boys in blue, and as we're driving down the road, they come from a junction on the right. Now we're having to go right through the middle, obviously because cars on the right, vehicles on the left, and as we go through we've got to pass that second silver car before we can move over. And as they're approaching the giveaway lines, I'm going to do this in slow motion. Should they have seen me at this point? I think they should have done. Should they have gone over the giveaway lines while I'm still in the centre of the road? I'll let you decide. I think they should have held back there. We pinched over as soon as we could, and they're still creeping, they're still moving as we're going past. Yeah, it was a little bit on the tight side, but I honestly think they could have done better there. What do you reckon, guys? Yeah, open for debate, that one. Okay, on to the next. Okay, this clip here is about the motorbike coming under the bridge. I just think it's simply a high risk manoeuvre, and it's something we pay high attention to when we're driving around. He's come up and he's passed us on that bend there, quite tight, quite close, and it's damp. I think it's inappropriate. I think he could have chose a better time to pass us, and we have to have our wits about us when we're dealing even with these learner bikes. Okay, this is a common one, pinch point. Red car comes past, we look to make progress before that car there gets to us. We have been waiting, we're making progress. All he's got to do is slow down a wee bit to help us out. And does he at that point there? No, not at all. Look at the pinch there. That was very, very close indeed, and to be honest, totally unnecessary. I had to grab the steering wheel at that point for that gap to avoid anything else happening. Okay, fourth car back. He's in the left-hand lane, he's going where we're going. At the moment he's doing the correct thing, but look, he pulls out, no indication in front of the car coming down the road, which in itself was dangerous. And all he's doing that for is to actually push in. He's using the right-hand lane to overtake everybody, or should I say undertake everybody. This is us entering the roundabout. You know he's pulled out, and he comes around and he undertakes us, and he's going in the same direction as us, in the wrong lane. Then he indicates to move over, so no harm done there, but it's just impatience and unnecessary and overall just poor driving. And it's things that we have to be aware about. I've mentioned this in other videos where roundabouts are concerned. We'll move on. Okay, what we're looking at this clip is a van in the distance, a white van. We're approaching a roundabout. Now I think this white van is going far too quick for the scenario that we're in. As we go into the roundabout, it's bearing down rather quickly. I think it's quite aggressive in its manner of driving as it treats the learner that it can now see. As we go into the roundabouts, it bears down on us quite quickly and overtakes us as soon as it possibly can with a slight aggressiveness, I think. And as it does so, if you look at the front, it goes straight to the left. The road is closed on the left. He doesn't notice that until the last moment, then pulls out again. And this is aggressive and this is extremely dangerous, and at some point there's going to be an accident if he carries on driving like that. Now this clip here is about a little bit of intolerance with this car behind us. Now we're in an area which a lot of learners come to in the very early stages of learning. We try to stay off the main roads and well away from cars, but even when they're near us, they still have to pass us, even though we're doing about 13 miles an hour there. In a 20, we could have been a little bit quicker, but as I said, this is very early on in pupils learning, and even then the learners are pressurized. We go to quiet roads, but we still get this pressure, this intolerance from other road users, which can be quite annoying sometimes. We stay off the main thoroughfares so we don't, interrupt other drivers. Now if you look as we go ahead, there's another learner up front. Now this car is behind and he's looking for the first opportunity as a learner parking there, trying to get past. Now the learner's actually turning left here. He can't even wait for this learner to turn left. Okay, this clip here, car pulling in, it needs to give way to the right. That one there. As we're entering, we're looking to actually enter, of course. A couple of cars come, we're looking for our moment. There it is, we make progress. Do they wait for us? No, they don't. They just pull out in front, and this happens. It's all too common. The learner has to be really on their toes to deal with idiots like this on the road, and I get pig sick of it, to be quite honest, with no giving way to the right where a learner is concerned. Okay, this here, what we're looking at is the van in front, staying in the left-hand lane. We've moved over because at the lights we're going straight on. The van should know where he's going, I suppose, his destination. But as he's coming up there, he's suddenly at the last moment thinks, oh, hang on a minute, I'll just change my mind. And then gets in an inappropriate place on the road to move over. This happens, sometimes people get forgetful, sometimes people get lost, but this guy's he's a worker, obviously self-employed worker of some nature. I'm sure he knows the area. But nevertheless, we just let him in and we move on. No real big deal at all. But we've got to watch out for things like that, so we don't get involved in any altercations. Okay, this clip another roundabout, but what I'd like to do is a quick shout out for these two on the Cyclists, our older generation of course. Great signalling and looking, the guy in the yellow, look as he goes around, look over the shoulder, right hand signal, all in single file. Yeah, take my hat off, some nice ride in there. Anyway, what I'm looking at is the road we're about to come up to now. There is a vehicle that's going to come down there, it's in that lane, and really it should be in this lane. It doesn't separate, so it's not planning at all, and that lane on the right there is a feed-off lane. Not to be crossed until the white lines finish, of course, so there's no confusion as you move forward, just as the Audi did. Now we have a look on the forward camera on this. As we go forward, there's my champion there on the left. As we move forward in the right hand lane, coming up to the roundabout, and I'll point out the car as we approach. So it's coming from where that lorry has just come from. Now I pointed out the 3 lanes there. So as we move on, you'll see the vehicle coming. There it is. And he said if he was in that mid lane, this wouldn't be an issue. But he uses the feed-off lane to go across, and then he indicates and goes straight across them without any due care and attention. He may have been looking in the mirrors, but that's really beside the point. And even when he goes there, that silver car is bearing down quite hard as well. Poor, that's quite poor. Okay, who gets the accolade this week? For me, it's got to be this guy here. I think his driving was dangerous, it was fast, he wasn't paying attention, and he got very close when he passed us, scared my learner, and I think it was totally inappropriate of his driving. So it's this fella all day long. What do you guys think? Anyway, like and subscribe please, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching.